Alright guys, so we got to Nuggets Wolves, and I think for the rest of round one, we're gonna just do this video. If the Lakers were healthy, then that would be its own vid, but it's not, barring a Luka medical miracle. Also, there's a sponsor. Let's start with Knicks Hawks, which is very interesting. So, the recent game that they had, there were a couple plays that are just hardwired into my brain. One of which, well, both of them were Jalen Johnson driving. It was Josh Hart usually guarding him. And then it would be like OG helping off of Okongwu in the corner, because they're putting OG on Okongwu and Cat is playing off of Dyson Daniels. And it's not that OG is just completely leaving Okongwu wide open and not caring about him at all, but he is choosing to aggressively help into the paint. And this speaks to the defensive turnaround the Knicks had, where you can really look at it since like February 1st, where among a few things, it's basically opponents don't shoot as well in the paint versus them as they used to, and also they give up among the most corner threes in the league. Is it just like, well, OG is such an effective help defender that somebody like Jalen Johnson or CJ or Nikhil or Dyson or whoever's going to be driving, they're just overwhelmed around the basket or, in the Mitch minutes as well. But even if Cat is not a great rim protector, still him having some leeway to roam off of Dyson, even if they're going to put Dyson in some two-man actions as well to try to counter that. Will it just be too much for the Hawks to just consistently score inside where, look, man, we know the offensive jump that Jalen Johnson took this year, but also this is his first time going up against a defense that's going to be fully locked in on him in a playoff series. And I know they've got Cat and Brunson to go at. We can't ignore the Knicks ended up as a top 10 defense this year. And so maybe Okongwu is going to torch them on threes. He's going to get opportunities. And, I do wonder if Okongwu, with his three-point jump this year, which was very real and very valuable for them and him and all that stuff, is he going to make enough to where the Knicks are going to change the way they play help defense? I don't know. You could put OG on Jalen Johnson for more on-ball defense. You could put Cat on Okongwu, which it does open up the Okongwu pick and pop. I'm going to once again go to, we're just going to have to see how much the Knicks are afraid of Okongwu taking threes. The way that Nikhil just gets into actions so quickly, like little ghost screens or brush screens or whatever, on top of if they keep up with how they guarded them not long ago, then Brunson's not going to be on Dyson. Then yeah, one of Nikhil or CJ might be able to just go to work against Brunson. And then you hope McHale can slow down the other one, assuming that they keep the matchups that they had in the last game. But yeah, assuming they keep up with the Cat help off of Dyson thing, you're going to see two-man game with Dyson. And if the Knicks can get it lined up to where Mitch is out there playing off of Dyson, that could be just devastating. Because we know Mitch, for however minutes he's out there, he's very impactful. And then you have the fact that the Hawks, they've gone with Okongwu on Cat. They could try to get to the Okongwu helping off of Josh Hart, but they didn't lean on that in the last one. If they're going to keep up with that, then Cat's just going to have more opportunities. Whenever a center is guarding Cat, even if it's a mobile one like Okongwu, it just gives him more opportunity. Like pretty much every bucket or assist that he had in that game was either the two-man game with Okongwu trying to navigate that, or Okongwu was guarding him on like the three-point line as a hub, so then Cat was finding cutters, including I think two huge ones for Brunson down the stretch of that game. Dyson and Nikhil, whichever one you want on Brunson. I mean, I'm imagining it's going to be Dyson on him the most, but if Nikhil ends up on him, I mean, those are about as two of good defenders that you could ask to have for Brunson. So it is interesting, and I haven't even gotten to just hopefully the Knicks don't forget that OG and McHale can score, because sometimes that happens. And of course, Josh Hart's three-point shooting is always going to be important, but here's my challenge to the Knicks that they will never hear. If you are a real contender, win the series in 5 games. Before we get back to it, this video is sponsored by SeatGeek. It's crazy how quickly it goes from cold outside and the part of the regular season that's cool, but also we know everything to know about every team, to suddenly it's nice outside and the best games of the year are about to happen. And if I wanted to go to any NBA playoff game or any sporting event or concert or festival or all types of things, then I would use SeatGeek as I have before, and it's always been good. With over 28 million downloads, SeatGeek is the #1 rated ticketing app. There are over 70,000 events listed on SeatGeek, and you can use my code FunkyDiabetic10 for 10% off your next order at SeatGeek. SeatGeek rates deals on a scale of 1 to 10, so you know you're getting a good deal. Look for the green dots. Green means good, red means bad. Every ticket is backed by their buyer guarantee. Click the link in the description to download the app and have the code automatically added to your account. One more time, FunkyDiabetic10, 10% off. The playoffs are here, man. It's basically a 2-month holiday. Anyway, I got a few seconds left. Shout out to Jaylen Brown. Okay, next up, Lakers-Rockets. Look, man, this series would have been really cool if Luka and Reeves were healthy. And barring some medical miracle of Luka coming back after he gets injected with who knows what in Europe, I just don't think there's a whole lot to talk about here. Look, LeBron's got to turn up the heat at 41 years old. The Lakers have to go crazy from three. Kennard has to take more threes that he's probably comfortable with, but obviously the percentages are great. Marcus has to take more threes than you're probably comfortable with him taking. You're going to need a scary thought here, maybe the series of DeAndre Ayton's life of just aggressiveness and rolls and beating switches, and possibly just scoring on Şengün if that's the matchup. And then defensively, you're going to do everything you were already going to do to the Rockets. Like, you're going to double KD. If Marcus is on KD, he's going to annoy the hell out of him. You're going to dare Amen and Şengün to make jumpers. If you can mess with the matchups, you can try to make yourself more switchable. You can just create chaos and go zone and whatever, but the talent is the talent. If Luka and Reeves aren't here, then it's going to be the Rockets in either a sweep or we'll say 5 games. Like, is there a world in which the Lakers just go crazy and get it longer? Maybe, but I'm not going to bank on it. And now we go to Spurs-Blazers off of an insane first day of the play-in games. So we all think the Spurs are going to win this series. You know I'm going to pick the Spurs, but I do think the Blazers can be a nice first playoff series test for this Spurs team because they've got a lot of wings that they can put on Wemby and get physical with them. They got Kamara. They have, well, Drew is not a wing, but Drew can guard up better than a lot of guards, even if he's 35. If you look at the last time Wemby played the Blazers, which was actually last year, Wemby has not played the Blazers this year. A lot of his shots came versus Grant. And then, I mean, Avdia has a lot of responsibility for them on the other end, but that's another wing that you can have on Wemby. And then you got Clingan, where that matchup, it is really interesting. I mean, Clingan's one of the few guys who really can contest like Wemby's shots around the rim like that. It's just, while Clingan can get out to the three-point line if he really gears himself up for it, he definitely prefers to concede jump shots and drop on screens. And I just don't know if he can really get out there consistently enough against Wemby. And so if you're trying to find, well, who do we put Clingan on instead? I mean, teams have tried putting their centers on Stephon Castle and just daring him to shoot. That is an option. If that doesn't become viable for you, then it does start to become a pretty tough series for Clingan, I think. Time Lord's got more mobility than Clingan does. And then let's see with Fox. I mean, all season, Fox has taken not a back seat, but a side seat for the sake of Castle's development and Harper's development and Wemby being the focal point of the whole thing. Well, this is now the time for De'Aaron Fox to turn it up. As far as the other side, I look forward to seeing a Wemby, Stephon Castle, and a bunch of other guys, but it starts with those two, defense in the playoffs. I'm imagining Castle's going to be on Avdia. We know that Avdia is going to be driving to the basket and looking for switches and trying to draw fouls, but Wemby's going to be waiting down there for him, and he's going to be trying to get physical with Wemby and drive into him, and let's just see what all happens, right? I mean, I would definitely give the edge to the guy who's going to probably go down as the best rim protector of all time and possibly the best defensive player of all time, but it'll be something to see nonetheless. Now, as far as the matchups, you could just put Wemby on Clingan. It gives him the best chance to be around the basket. I know Clingan is shooting threes. I know he will go to the pick and pop. I don't know how much the Spurs are really going to fear Donovan Clingan taking threes. If somebody else has to close out to him, fine, but I think he's going to have to make quite a few before the Spurs really change something defensively. And so then I start to wonder how much of a threat can Clingan be on the roll in this series with Wemby at the rim. I don't know. I mean, this is the first of who knows how many playoff series we see with the Spurs and Wemby over the next 10 to 15 years, and we're going to do this a lot. Can this team really score on this guy at the rim? And then if you want to try having Wemby help off of somebody, I mean, at one time it might have been Kamara, but Kamara got to 37% from 3 on 7 attempts a game this year. Like, he took a real jump with the shooting numbers this season, so maybe you just don't really think about that anymore. And then around all that, look, Drew, some of the shots that Drew has taken this year have been crazy confident given what I think the perception of him was after that last year with the Celtics. First time we're going to see Shaedon Sharpe in a playoff series. I have no idea what to expect from him. I have no idea what to expect from Scoot in this series. Also looking to see Dylan Harper attacking Time Lord as well as Clingan protecting the basket, because Harper's finishing and the craftiness and scoop layups and gather steps, whatever it's got to be to finish around centers, he's already shown that this year. I mean, the efficiency on mostly twos for a while there was pretty crazy. So it should be good going with the Spurs to win, as everybody will, but again, it'll be a nice first kind of test for this team. Also, really want to see Wemby just deal with physicality game after game, get the minutes totals up there, what's the stamina looking like, all that stuff. One, where is Scotty? I mean, Scotty is so versatile that if you want to put him on Mobley to allow him to be a help defender, and also you think he can lock up Mobley 1v1 and also make some switchable and Mobley screens, you can do that. You could just put him right on Harden right away. We'll see. I mean, Scotty's going to be all over the place defensively in the series. He's going to end up guarding everybody at some point. And then to repeat what I said at some point in the regular season when imagining this matchup, seeing Mobley, Allen, Jalen Tyson, who has screened for Harden as well, anybody screening for Harden or Mitchell really, making plays in the middle of the floor versus this Raptor defense where Scotty is going to be somewhere as a help defender, Unless he's on Harden, I guess. At least at the beginning, Pirtle's going to be protecting the basket. We will see just if Harden is able to go at Pirtle to the point where it becomes more CMB for switchability. But, CMB's defensive IQ is really good. Shed is going to be annoying, even if on the other end, the Cavs are going to dare him to make jumpers. Jacoby's going to play hard. The Raptors this year, they were 4th in opponent turnovers per game. They were 2nd in that number if you go last 15 games of the season. That's how they make this a series. And it's not just wondering, well, how many minutes can we get of our defense first role players? It's also, is there enough pressure from RJ and Ingram and quickly given what they got to do on the other end? I mean, I have my questions about Cleveland's toughness, but that question is more so really for round 2 against the Pistons. I think they'll bother Cleveland, to be fair. But then we get to the half-court offense where the Raptors, they were 16th in offensive rating. I'm trying to find one specific thing that they could find in the series, whether it's trying to get Scotty switched into Mitchell, can RJ and Ingram score inside, and Scotty as well, consistently enough versus Mobley and Allen protecting the rim, can quickly either make enough jumpers off the dribble to force those bigs higher up on screens or put himself in little ghost screen actions to get Harden moving a little more if he can get lined up against Harden. There are ways for the Raptors to make this interesting. The biggest one still, just be really annoying. And we'll see if they can do it, but I'm going to pick the Cavs. Also wondering if my guy Mamu has to come in just to open up the floor, more than the 20 minutes he plays a game.